like to welcome you to the yoga practice. In this cross leg position, make sure that you keep your lower back in neutral, that you relax and your shoulders and your arms. And just take a note how you feel in your hips and your knees and your ankles in this position. Also notice which leg is in front. We unconsciously coming with the more open hip with the ankle closer to the body, and the less flexible hip with the ankle further away. So just notice how that feels here, and you're welcome to keep your eyes gently closed as we will spend a couple of moments noting the mindset, trying to bring the mindset to the practice, to the space that you choose to be this morning, to your body, finding the calm and rhythmic breathing that you would like to maintain through the rest of the practice. Taking the breath in through the nostrils, letting the air to come out through the nostrils very slowly. Think that you have a filter that you actually have in the nostrils when you're inhaling. And as you exhale up, just to visualize that you have filter in your throat. So slightly compress the muscles of the throat, and maybe you can even hear the sounds of ha on your exhale. Very slowly letting go. Noting how this breath is warming up the body from within. Also generating the sounds of ha, helping you to be more focused on the breath and be more focused on sensation of the respiratory system working. Make sure that you also connect it to the work of your diaphragm and even the rib cage. You have a slight expansion of the rib cage to the front, to the sides, to the back, and then like a collapse on the exhalation. Also on inhale, think of a lengthening, and that's the usual alignment that we want to build on inhalation. And on exhalation, think more of a grounding. And this position is helping you to get more grounding because your legs ideally are fully touching the floor. So let's have here 5 more breaths. Trying to clear the mind from any thoughts, plans that you may have for yourself for today. On the next inhale, allow yourself to open your eyes, and let us just release the legs for the moment. Maybe extend them and just stretch them a little bit. And then keep your left ankle on the floor and hug your right thigh and just lift the right leg off the floor. Walk your shin bone and very slowly go into a circular movement with your ankle. So try to go as slow as possible, one direction and then the other direction. And note how the shin bone is want to move in the knee joint, but actually not really moving, right? So the knee joint is kind of a locked system that the bones that come into the knee, they just stop there. They're not moving to the left and to the right. And if they're moving, we are injuring the knee. So just note how your movement of the ankle would influence on the shin bone movement, but not in the joint in the knee. Okay, and let us just change the leg and have your right shin on the floor, right ankle on the floor, hug your left thigh, and again, just lock the shin bone and slowly go one direction and the other direction with the ankle. Try to go with a full circle. Just visualize that you drawing the circle with your big toe, and you will be finding some restrictions in those movements. Just note which exact position of the ankle will be limited. Let's go 2 more times, one direction and the other direction, and then let us just come off the block, remove the block, and sit comfortably on the floor with your feet wide, and then come to the heels and flex your feet actively. So try to open your knees as wide as you can, and then just go with the right knee in. So internally rotate your right hip while the left stays open, and then open back. Sit tall with your spine, and then drop the left knee. So when you drop in the left knee, you have a 90-degree here, and then open this again. So come with the shins parallel, bend your knees, so knees are bent. You're going to be with the side, so you might see me a little bit better here with a straight spine, and you're just taking one knee in and then open. So all what we do is just exploring the internal rotation and a little bit of external rotation of the hip. Internal rotation and external rotation. And I want you to note that I'm asking you to flex your foot, this flex foot position, locking your knee. So the movement, like we were separated the movement in the ankle, we're now separating the movement in the hip. So the whole leg is locked in a 90-degree. We internally rotate the hip, and then we open that. Let's do 2 more times with each leg. It's just the warm up. And when you come to the start position, you're keeping your spine straight. Come one more time with each leg. And let us come into the tabletop position now. And just to warm up the spine a little bit, we will return back to the legs in a moment, but in the tabletop position, let us just move the spine. So maybe you feel a little bit rusty in your spine if you're practicing with a recording. So you might not be practicing in the morning. Maybe you spend a day on sitting, on standing, or doing some extra work. So we are practicing in the morning, so we might feel a little bit tight in the spine. So using the breath just to move the spine from flexion to extension. Let us go for 2 more times. Involve your pelvis, involve the head, pressing the head down, involving more of a neck part of the spine. And then after the 2, just come into the tabletop position, tuck your toes, and come into the downward dog. And here's the first downward dog. So you might bend your knees and just focus more on traction of the spine. Like think like you want to stretch your spine opposite direction from the base of it towards the head. And head is this weight that's pulling the spine in the other direction. So hold here for 3 exhales. At the same time, activate a little bit your arms, your shoulders. This is the arm balancing pose. And on next inhale, just look forward. Walk with your feet forward and hang here for the moment. Allowing a bit of a stretch of the hamstring, a little bit stretch of all the back muscles here. Relax your arms, shake your head maybe, and then very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, come up into the standing position. So when we are in the standing position, we will place, as I told you, can use this wide band, but you can use their mini band or tie the resistance band to use that. So we're coming with the band. So band is just around your feet. You're stepping inside the band, that's all, okay? So when everybody will be ready, we will stretch it with the feet parallel to each other. Just stretch a little bit. So you do feel a bit of the work of the lateral muscles of the legs, but not too much. So it's not something that like a very hard stretch, okay? And now we're going to be just moving the right foot out and in. So you trying to lock the left side of the body, and all what move is the foot out and back in. Out and in. So try not to rotate with your hip and your shoulders, right? So limit the movement just with the foot, but note how the actual movement is start from the hip, right? So if you align in the hip, you have a little bit of external rotation of the hip as well. And come out and in. And out and in. I believe we need to do 3 more. I want you to do like 10. If you're at home practicing with recording, just count the 10 reps here with the right leg. And now let us do it with the left. So control your right side and lift the foot and open. And note how the movement happening in the hip, how the inner thigh is working here to open. So shoulders is locked to the front. Okay, so go, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now you can have your hands on the hips if you like. You can have them relaxed. We're going to come to the tippy toes and just hold here with a little bit. You should feel a bit of a resistance on your feet and come down. And when you come to the tippy toes, engage your glutes, engage your lower abdomen. Come up, try to press your big toe down. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come down. Have 1 more, coming up, press. So we're losing the balance when we collapse into the outer edges. Having the resistance band helping you to press your big toe even more. Come down. 2 more times, okay? So come up and hold. Engage the abdomen. Try not to do any compensation here. And come down. Your last one. To come up to the tippy toes, press the big toe, engage your calves a little bit, feel your inner thighs, and come down. Okay, let us just release the legs from the band and shake them a little bit. We will still need it for a bit more. So let us again just bring the feet in and stretch them a bit. So stretch them a little bit more. Again, trying to keep your feet parallel to each other. We're going to go into a couple of squats here. So because we have a resistance band, you might find that you want to bring your knees in. And that's where I want you to focus on sending the knees forward. So come into squat. So not allowing the knees to come in. Resist with the shins, with the outer edges of the legs. Glutes are working and come up. Try not to compensate from the shoulders. Come into squat. So remember how we told that knees is just the hinge. So you have a straight line here in the shins and thighs. Knees go slightly out and come up. That's 2. We have 3 more. Coming and holding. So activating a little bit of your glutes here. And coming up. And last time, holding, shoulders relaxed, and of course you're smiling because you love your squats, right? And come up and release. So now with this band, walk to the right side of the mat. And we're gonna just have a 2 times walking to the left edge of the mat with a resistance around your feet. So have your knees a little bit softer. You're not going into squat, you're just a bit of a soft, and then stretch your knees forward and step. Stretch and step. Make sure that you're not bouncing from side to side. All what you do is just walking, walking, keeping shoulders above the hips. So activating a little bit of the glutes here. And when you reach the other edge of the mat, you're walking back. You're walking back. The steps are very small, so try not to bounce with your torso. Holding this as straight as possible. You can have your hands touching your shoulders, and let's rest if you reached the other side of the mat. We'll have one more going again. So stretch it a bit. Knees look forward, shoulders sit above the hips, and walk. So the step that you do is maybe inch, not more than that. Just holding, just feeling your glutes are working. Okay, and going back. Okay, and let us release. So we're gonna put the band away for now and just shake your legs. We'll return a little bit on the stability and mobility of the ankles. So let us come to the outer edges of the feet. Your feet are right now more or less hip distance. We're gonna go into this round squat. Remember we did that. So just trying to hold your ankle in this rotation, and we'll just go for 5 squats. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let us step a little bit wider. That's going to give us the space to rotate to the inner feet, and you're bringing your knees together, but you're not touching. You're keeping the thighs parallel here, and we're going to come into another 5 squats in this position. And when you hold, noticing how your inner thighs are focusing to control the knee. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Great. So let us shake the legs and just come to the back of your mat. Before we're going to go into flow, we have one more ankle exercise. We'll come to the tippy toes and engage in the glutes, engage in the lower abdomen. We'll just walk on the tippy toes in a very, very small steps all the way to the front of the mat. Hold. Then we'll drop the heels, come to the heels, and we're going to walk on the heels to the back. Okay, then we're going to come to the tippy toes, and we're going to walk forward. Small, small steps, maybe inch. And drop the heels, lift your feet, and walk on their heels all the way to the back. And then we're going to come to the outer edges of the feet. So a little bit funny position. Knees are slightly bent, of course, because we already learned how it's all connected through the knee. And just walk on the outer edge of the feet toward the front of the mat. When you get to the front of the mat, step wider. Come out to the inner edge of the mat. So knees are not touching, and walk back. And there's also very funny walk. Controlling your knees with inner thighs. And again, coming to the outer edges and walk into the front. And then coming wide, bringing knees together and walking back. And when you reach the back of the mat, just shake your legs and approach while you're shaking the legs, the front of the mat, and come to the mountain pose. As you practice in the mountain pose, I want you just to note how you setting your feet parallel to each other and be aware how you're grounding yourself, how you have, I hope, you activated the muscles of the arches of the feet as well. So you feel that your legs are fully grounded and support your torso. And just return back to checking the breath, and from here we'll go through the first sun salutation flow. With inhale, lift the arms up, hinging from the hip, coming into the full fold. Taking a moment here and maybe rocking from the toes to the heels a couple of times till you can admit that you distributed the weight equally. So not just standing on the heels and not locking your knees. Then slide your hands just below the knees and come into half fold. Shoulders away from the ears. Then exhale, fold all the way down. And then from here, step your left foot back and drop the left knee down to the floor. For this first lunge, you might want to use your blocks, as we will move the heel closer to the back knee and move this front knee forward. So you compressing your ankle, right? So your heel stays on the floor and you move with the knee as far forward as it's possible, whatever your ankle allows you. You might feel a little bit of a stretch of the right calf, and the blocks might be very useful here. The back knee is softly touching the floor. You might feel a little bit stretch in the left hip flexor, but not much. Most of the stretch feels in the calf muscle. Then from here, move the hips, move the blocks and hips backward, and flex the foot and come into the hamstring stretch, trying to keep your lower back in a neutral position. So don't drop your head, keep your chest open. And then come back into the lunge. This time, get your knee above the heel. Use your block just to help you to lift the back knee. So tuck the toes and lift the back knee. And maybe you feel that you want to step a little bit closer. So you are now in the lunge, a high lunge. Bring the hands on the hips. And let us move with the knee forward and then press the back heel toward the mat. Move with the knee forward. Feel like all the weight comes to the quads and then distribute the weight back to the left leg. One more time, come forward and then come back, press the heel and then ground yourself here. Lift your arms up into warrior one. Hold as warrior one. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you might move the blocks outside of the mat and step into downward dog. If it's going to take you a couple of movements to step into downward dog, that's fine. In the downward dog, focus on the spinal elongation, a spinal traction. No worry about the straight knees. But you can notice how your ankles maybe feel better in your downward dog. Very often ankles are the limitation here. Then let's drop the knees down to the floor to step the left foot forward. Again, you can take the blocks and find in your lunge that the knee moves forward. So your left heel is on the floor, knee moves forward, and you're just compressing the ankle, allowing some stretch in the calf muscle. Back knee is just finding the comfortable position on the mat. So push it forward. Limitation in this variation of the lunge could be knee and the ankle. So whatever comes first, I'm gonna limit you. And then using the blocks, move the hips back, flex the foot, and get some hamstring stretch here. Lengthening through the spine. Maintain neutral neck. I know sometimes when you practice With the screen, you need to look, so you lift the chin too high, compressing the neck. So just try to use their instructions and focus more on their neutral neck position. On exhale, find your way to come back into the lunge with the knee above the hip. Tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. If you need, adjust the stance a little bit and then lift the torso up. And now again, we're going to move forward and move back. So when you're moving forward, your hips slightly coming toward the floor. When you move back, your hips might be lifted, but you're using the back leg for support. One more time, come forward, and then come back and try to press the back heel to the floor. Lift the arms up, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the hands on the floor. And again, it might be several steps. Come into the downward dog, practicing their long spine. And you might pedal your heels and notice how the ankles respond to all the warm-up and mobility drills that we practicing, trying, exploring today. On next inhale, look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Just hang here for the moment and then bring your hands to the shins and lift the chest halfway. And now from here we come into chair pose, that is basically squat with the knees parallel, holding the arms in front, shoulders relaxed, holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Press the heels up, inhale, and exhale, bring the arms on both sides of the hips. So let's practice the sun salutation a little bit faster. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, folding forward all the way into the passage. Bring the hands to the shins, come into the hip hinge, and then exhale, come all the way down. Then stepping the left foot back. So right away coming into lunge for the warrior 1. And right away lifting the arms up into warrior 1. Using the back leg right away. You know that the front knee is just for balance. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the floor and find your way into the plank. Hold the plank and then drop the knees and come all the way down. Exhale. Reset your hands on the sides of the rib cage. Roll the shoulders back and just lift the torso a little bit. But focus on the work for the back of your legs, your glutes, your hamstrings here. So feel how the lower part of the body assisting this back bend. And then press the floor, come maybe into the cat stretch for the contour pose. And when you're ready, come into the downward dog. Exhale. Long spine. And then find your way to step your left foot forward into lunge. Maybe it's several steps. Take your time. Bring your hands on the hips and lift the torso. Right away, use the back leg. Maintain your open chest. Take your arms overhead. Hold 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the floor and step into plank. Hold the plank. Then drop the knees, come all the way down. Exhale. Reset the hands to be on the sides of the rib cage. Point the toes, strong legs. Lift the torso off the floor. It doesn't need to be high. It could be mini cobra. Hands are really lightly touching the floor. Tuck the toes, chin to the chest. Exhale. Come into the downward dog. Let's hold the downward dog for 3 exhalations. Focus on every exhale, pushing the floor away and sending your tailbone up toward the ceiling. On next inhale, look forward, step or walk to the front of the mat. Bring the hands to the shins, lift the chest halfway into the hip hinge, and from here we're coming into the chair pose again. Hold the chair pose. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From the heels, press up into standing. Exhale, bring the arms on both sides of the hips. So let us now take a blocks and put one block in front of the other. 2 blocks is just in case one block is not enough for the foot. So you stepping with the right foot on the closest to your block, and whatever your toes are going to the second, that's okay. And here we're gonna just come to the tippy toes of the left leg and stepping into lunge, but it's not the high lunge, it's just a small, a short lunge. And now here, I want you to work a little bit with a bend in the knee to, this time, stretch your toes. So to bend in the knee, you're lifting the heel. The front knee is not moving. Note that. If you find that your front knee is moving, maybe you need to step a little bit wider. And then on some point, you're going to bend the knee and come down, tucking the tailbone under. Your front knee 90 degree, your back knee 90 degree. Holding the arms here. Lift your heel high. Back heel and in. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To come up, press the back leg and then release. Shake your legs and find your left foot on the block. Go with the right foot back, so it's not a very wide lunge. And before we're going to go into the lunge, just to warm up your toes. So lift your heel, bend your knee. Notice how, again, those 3 joints, ankle, knee, and hip work together. And then when you're ready, just drop the knee down, not letting the front knee to come forward 90 degree, tucking the tailbone under, arms in front, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up and then release. So shake your legs. We'll again take a block away and we'll come into the wide-legged position. So opening your toes wide, but you need to decide how wide you need to. So just play a little bit here, and you want to have your toes wide. Remember, we were telling that knee is the hinge. So when you come into the squat, you still want to have your knee as a hinge. So knee is not falling in, and knees are not going wider than the heels. Okay, so when you find the distance and the angle of your toes, we're going to bounce in the sumo squat. Just bouncing, trying to go as low as you can. Feel a little bit compression in your hips, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come up and just have a rest. Don't change the distance, because you're going to need this again. We're going to now lift the right heel off the floor. So when you're lifting one heel off the floor, we have a tendency to collapse with the torso in compensation. So you might just really lock yourself on the center, holding the hands together, and then come into squat. So shoulders above the hips. Hold it here. Lifting the heel high. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up, drop the heel. Lift the left heel and coming into squat, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up, and for next one, you may be adjusting ½ inch to have your stance closer, as we're going to be lifting both heels and coming into squat with the heels up, shoulders relaxed. Don't lift your chin, don't tense your face. Lift your heel higher and higher and higher, and one more time higher, and then drop the heels and Turn your toes in and just come into relaxed fold forward. Exhale. Very slowly roll up into the standing position. We're going to remain in this wide leg position, but we're going to turn the right foot out. We're finding the warrior two legs. And maybe you need to slide your back foot a little bit more. Make sure the front knee 90 degree. And what I specifically want you to note, that you're not letting your right knee to fall in. So get your hinge here of a right leg aligned, and just whatever left leg feel comfortable. Take your arms overhead, so make sure that you're not collapsing to the right, and then extend your arms. Then bring your gaze to the left hand first. Make sure your left shoulder relaxed. Stretch the tip of the left hand toward the back, and then bring your gaze to the front. Tuck the tailbone under, engage your core muscles. Control your front knee with the inner thigh and hold the warrior 2, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the front knee. Turn the right foot in, turn the left foot out. Take your time, first of all, to control the front knee. 90 degree, not collapsing in. Finding the back leg where it feels comfortable for the right hip. Then take your arms up. Take your arms parallel to the floor. Bring your gaze to the right hand. Think of stretching that right arm toward the back, and then bring your gaze to the front. Hold your torso just above the hips. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the arms and go toes, heels, back into the standing position. Shake your legs. We will need the blocks, and we will need the band again. So first we're going to use the band. So place your band around your ankles this time. We're going to practice in the balance poses with a little bit of resistance. So when you already have the band around your ankle, bring the body weight to the right foot. And don't lock your right knee. Engage your glute to stabilize the right hip, and then just lift the left leg. And think of, you're not really stretching the band much. Flex the left foot and hold here. You can take your arms wide. So continue to press the left heel away while the right side is resisting. Feel everything on the right side working. Try not to collapse to the right. Keep your right side straight and release. So maybe rest a little bit, step inside your band. Bring the body weight to the left foot, and make sure your left foot is not rotated out. Remember, we want to have this alignment. Second toe, centers of the shin, the knee, hip. Bring the body weight to the left leg. Squeeze your left glute and lift the right leg off. Flex the foot and slightly, just, you're not really stretching much, you just feel the resistance in the glutes again, in the inner thighs again, in your lower abdomen. You can take your arms wide, hold. And let's release. Okay, great. So now we're going to step on the band like we had in the beginning of the practice. So the band is around your feet. We're going to bring the body weight to the left foot, and we're going to just try to lift the knee up and hold. So you feel the resistance here. Your hip flexor is working. So make sure you're not leaning back. Pull the leg in, engage your lower abdomen. You can take your arms into cactus for this one. Hold 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Maybe again, step a little bit inside your resistance band. Bring the body weight to the right foot. And when you're ready, just gently lift the knee. You feel the resistance, but not something that you're really stretching. Hold yourself tall. Take the arms in cactus pose, and let's just bring them as low as you can, keeping the elbows high. So don't drop your elbows. Keep them high. Internal rotation for the shoulders, just to distract you from this pretty challenging stretch of the band, and release. Good. So we will take the band away for now and shake your legs. You definitely feel your hip flexors. You definitely feel something worked in your hip joint. And again, we're going to just place the block one in front of the other, as we're going to be practicing the balance poses with slight elevation. If you don't feel safe, please use the wall or please use the chair. So we're going to bring the right foot to the block, and in this case we may be rotating the right foot slightly out, like the big toe is now aligned with the center of the block. And when you're ready, we'll just practice the tree pose. You can bring your hands in front of the heart. Hold. Continue to press your big toe to the floor. Continue to stabilize your hips with the engaged glutes. Five more. And let's release. So shake your legs and step your left foot. So the big toe is now on the center of the block, so you have a bit of rotation, even less than a half inch. Stabilize your left leg and bring the right foot where you feel right. Hold your arms in your preferable position for the tree pose. Let's hold this for 10 breaths. Keep focusing on the glute engagement. 5 more. And let's release. So let us take the blocks away, come to the front of the mat. We'll just flow one more time to get down to the floor. So when you're practicing your mountain pose, just feel how strong you feel in the hips area, how strong you feel in your ankle, how stable you feel in your ankle right now. Feel that the lower body is supporting your tall mountain. And let's flow. Inhale, lift the arms up. Hinge from the hips. Exhale, folding all the way down. Bring the hands to the shins, lifting the chest halfway. And then step into the plank. Let's just work a little bit on the core strength. Engage your glutes. Push the floor. Hold the plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees down. Exhale, come all the way down to the floor. Let us bring the forehead down on the palms so your neck is in neutral position. Have your feet just a little bit separated, just not very wide, just a bit. And then let's lift the right leg off the floor. Keep your knees straight. Point the toe. Feel how you're lifting the legs from the glute and hamstring work, not from the lower back. And release. Let's lift the left leg. Hold. Keep your neck relaxed. Keep your face relaxed. Keep breathing. Think of the pointed toes, straight knee. Release. Shake your legs a little bit. Relax your glutes. And this time we're going to lift both legs up. Hold them. Neck is relaxed. Head is down to the palms. Hold. Hold. And release. have it on the front of the mat. And let us roll into seated position with a band around your thighs. And then you come to the bridge pose. So let us come to the bridge pose. And take a moment to find your feet position. The feet are hip distance apart. So you feel again a bit of a resistance, and make sure you feel it in your inner thighs. So you don't press your knees wide. Still you have alignment from the hip bone to the knee, to the shin, to the second toe. Arms on the sides of the hips. We're going to come into the bridge. So hold your bridge. You don't need to go into the too much of extension. As you hold in the bridge, continue to work with your glutes to keep this resistance active, right? With your inner thighs, and come down. Exhale. Let's do it again. Lift the hips. Hold. Neutral position is preferable here. It's a little bit different work. It's not so much for the flexibility of the spine. And come all the way down. One more time. Lift the hips. Coming all the way down. Two more times. Coming up, holding, being in control, noting what exactly working here, which muscles are we activating. Coming all the way down. You definitely feel burden in your glutes, and that's what I would like you to feel. Lift the hips, hold, and coming down. So let us bring the knees together and knees to the chest. Just massage the lower back. And we'll modify that a little bit. We're going to now bring the feet together like we go to the Baddha Konasana, right? And stretch the knees apart. So you feel your inner thighs working, but you feel a little bit different part of the glutes are working here. And that's how we're going to go into the bridge. So feet flat together and the outer edges of the feet, knees as wide as apart as your band allows you, and gonna lift the hips here. Continue to keep your knees wide. Continue to be active with your inner thighs, and come all the way down. Exhale. Lift the hips. Hold. In control of the lower back. Coming down. Exhale. Again, the lift. Coming down. Exhale. Last time, lift, hold, keep focusing of what working, what exactly engaged here, and come all the way down. Again, bring the knees together, bring your knees to your chest, and rock from side to side. And then bring your feet down to the floor. We're going to try to go into a one-legged bridge. Okay, so when you're ready, feet are together. When you're ready, lift your hips up. So you can have your left heel even slightly closer to the shoulder blades, arms on the floor. Extend your right leg, flex the right foot, and just press the right leg toward the face. Hold. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the hips, release the right leg. Let's build it on the other side. So if you feel your right heel have to slide closer, please do so. So when you're ready, lift your hips. Extend your left leg, flex the left foot, press it toward the chest. Hold. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down, exhale. We're going to do it 2 more times for each leg. So set your feet closer, left heel closer, lift the hips. Extend the right leg, flex the foot, press the leg, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the hips, release the leg. Adjust the position, lift the hips, extend the leg, flex the foot, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the hips. If you feel, we're gonna just have here a bit of a rest. Bring your knees to your chest, rock from side to side. And we have one more set of this. So bring your feet down to the floor. And when you're ready, lift the hips. Extend the leg, flex the foot, press the leg toward the chest. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down. Change the legs. Bring the right foot to the floor. And lift the hips and hold for 5. Press the leg toward the chest. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let us remove the resistance band. We don't need it anymore. Bring your knees to your chest and massage the lower back. And then when you're ready, come to your favorite position for the glute stretch. So bend your right knee, bring the right ankle on the left knee, and here you can just stay like that, or lift the left foot off the floor. You can extend the left leg. You can interlace the hands behind the left side. Keep your right foot flexed to support the knee. Keep your shoulders relaxed. So we might tense the shoulder. So use the arm position that your shoulders are relaxed. You can have your left foot flexed as well. So extra stretch for the hamstring. Focus on your exhalation. Another exhale, and then let us change the position. Bring the left ankle on the top of the right knee. First, just open the knee. Keep your left foot flexed. Shoulders, hips down on the floor. Then lift the right foot. Extend the leg. Interlace the hands. And keep shoulders relaxed. Focus on exhalation, focus on the whole body to be released on the floor. And let's release. Set your feet on the width of the mat. Take your arms in T position and let's drop the knees to the right. So your feet are separated, your knees are separated. Turn your head to the left. And from here, you're welcome to practice any different position as your favorite. Maybe you want to have your right leg straight and take your left knee across, or just have knees parallel, adjusted, or just keep this very interesting position for internal rotation of the left hip. So whatever feels right for you, please go. Let's feel it relax. You can adjust the arms into position that feels right for you. Another exhale, and then bring your knees back up. So start with your feet wide. Start with your torso aligned on the midline, and then drop the knees to the left. And you can hold here for the moment, and then when you're ready, just go to your maybe favorite position. If it's something else, could be practiced here. Whatever you feel right for your body, for your glutes, for your spine, you're welcome to practice here in a very passive way. Another exhale, and come back to the center. We will stretch the hamstring a little bit, and you can have your feet on the floor, extend your right leg, and that's maybe the position that you practice. Because we have a resistance band today, you might catch your foot with a resistance band and just use it to pull the leg a little bit. But if you don't have it close to you, just keep pressing the heel up and allow yourself to feel some stretch, calf and hamstring. And it doesn't need to be close to your body. Make sure that you
maintaining your neutral spine. So the intensity of the hamstring stretch is not about bringing the toe closer and lifting the tailbone off the floor. You have to be in neutral position and focus more on the heel goes up toward the ceiling. And then let us change. Bring the left foot in if you're using the resistance band, like I demonstrate, or just bring the right foot down, left foot in. Press the heel up, shoulders relax. So if you're holding the resistance band, or let's say you're holding the strap, we have a tendency to tense the shoulders. So it's not about shoulders. It's about sending the heel up toward the ceiling, maintaining straight knee. And let's release. Bring the knees to your chest and then come into happy baby pose. You might be reaching to your feet. You might be holding your ankles or maybe even behind the knees. Again, in a happy baby, especially if you're holding your feet, don't lift your tailbone off the floor. You want to maintain the neutral spine here. And using a little bit of the bicep strength, you're just pressing knees toward the floor, not toes toward your face. So having again a little bit of a glutes, a little bit of a hamstring stretch, definitely a lot of a stretch for the lower back. And now the exhale, and then let's just lift the legs up, arms up, and let's shake it. So we're coming into those hot days that we want to drink a lot, but we need our lymphatic system to work also good. So elevation of the legs, all kind of a shaking, jumping is a really great for lymphatic system. So we're gonna complete the practice with the shaking and feel your joints that we targeted today. Feel how they're shaking the legs happening from the hips, but all muscles are really jelly. And this is for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And when you're ready, let us find Shavasana. Extend your legs, extend your arms. Support the back of your head if needed. When you're finding the position for your legs, allow your heels to be wide and allow the toes to fall apart. Take a couple of exhales before you are allowing yourself to rest. You might feel the blood circulation increased in their lower limbs. As we targeted today, a lot of small muscles that helping us to keep our joints stable, to keep our ankles, knees, and hips in the good shape. It's not only the flexibility that we should work on, but also stability. Maybe even more important as we age. With the next exhale, maybe deepen your breath and add the movement back. Find your way to bend your knees and roll to one side of the body. When you're ready, and find your way to come into seated position. Take your time, no rush.
When you come into seated position, please change the leg that you usually put in front to the opposite one. And note how you feel. Bring your hands to your knees and take a moment here to settle in the cross-leg position to complete the practice. When you're ready, bring your hands in front of your heart and thank yourself for being able to practice on the mat, finding the time, finding energy, courage, being open-minded to try new things and maybe challenging moves and challenging not just for your body but also challenging